Handicapper Steve here, handicapping the racing from Gulfstream Park here on Saturday. It is the 23rd of January 2021. It's Pegasus Day from Gulfstream, and I'm going to look at all the stakes races, including the Pegasus races. But before I get on to that, remember to please follow me on Twitter at Horse Racing Kit 5 for more selections for race courses around the world. I mean around the world. But it's an excellent card today from Gulfstream. We'll be looking at all those stakes races 4, 7, through 12. So race 4 and then races 7 through 12. Let's get to it right now. The fourth race from Gulfstream Park, it is the Fred W. Hooper Stakes. Grade 3 purse $125,000. Race for 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 8 horses heading to the main track. The distance of ground here, 1,600 meters, if you want to go by that, or the 1-turn mile on the main track. 1,600 meters, 1 mile. And I show the diagram. Just gives me a second to look down my notes, so just bear with me. 1 mile here in the Fred Hooper. My top selection, we're going to go to the rail to the 1-horse Performer. We'll go 1-5-3-7 in the superfecta. 1-5-3-7 super. Top selection, the 1-horse Performer. This 5-year-old horse by Spicetown. Joe McGahee trains. Joel Rosario gets the mount. The horse's most recent outing came on the 5th of December here in New York at Aqueduct on the slot. 1 mile on the Cigar Mile. And he finished third by 5 3/4 lengths. And as the 85 cents to the dollar favorite, he just never really got into it. It was very lackadaisical, first time stakes quality horses in a while. He just never ran. Coming back here, lesser quality horses, training well. I'm going to give him another shot. 2 back on the 17th of October at Belmont. 1 mile on the Muddy but Herod going optional 80. He won by 1 3/4 lengths, and it was his first start in 11 months, and he got the job done basically easily after the break, where he didn't break so well, but after that he got the lead and just took off clear. That was basically a paid workout, an all-around good effort there. And then prior to that, the Discovery Stakes at Aqueduct, mile late November of 2019, winning by 1 1/4 lengths. He got the lead, and he beat Taxhome, who was running later on in the Pegasus, who's a decent horse, but cutting back to a 1-turn mile again, training well at 7-5. He's a very likely winner, along with a 5-horse Fat Man. 7-year-old Gunner by Munnings. I Rider Tease Jr. gets the mount. Most recently in the Harlan's Holiday, I think the trip got to the horse. Going the mile 16th, he finished third by 5 lengths, and he just couldn't keep up. But 2 back in the Lafayette at Keeneland, he finished 6th by 4 lengths. He was moving a little bit late. Off the bench, I didn't think it was a half-bad race. And then before then, the Gulfstream Park Mile here at Gulfstream on the 29th of February last year, he finished second by 3 lengths, and he was really moving late. I didn't think it was a half-bad race. 2 turns he doesn't like, but 1-turn mile, it's really up his alley. At 7-2, we'll definitely use him in your multi-race scenario. But to recap my selection for the fourth from Gulfstream, it's the Fred W. Hooper. We'll take the 1-horse Performer as a top selection. We'll give kudos to the 5-horse Fat Man. We'll go 1-5-3-7 in the superfecta, 1-5 in the multi-race. Let's get to race number 7 now from Gulfstream. The 7th race from Gulfstream, it is the Marshua's River Stakes. It's a grade 3 event going for a purse of $125,000. Race for fillies, mares, 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 10 horses heading to the turf course. Distance of ground of 1,600 meters, or the distance of ground of 1 mile on the Gulfstream Park turf course. 1,600 meters, 1 mile here. The portable rails are, in this event, up at 96 feet, so it's the outer portion of the 180-foot wide turf course. My top selection here, we're going to go with the number 8 horse Tuned. We'll go 8-4-3-2 in the superfecta. 8-4-3-2 super. Top selection 8 horse Tuned. This 5-year-old mare by Tornado. I Rider Tease Jr. gets them out for Grand Motion. The horse's most recent outing came on the 12th of December here at Gulfstream. Mile 16th, the good turf course in the My Charmer Handicap or Stakes. The horse finished second by 1.5 lengths and really had a good turn a foot late from the back of the pack. Great final quarter. He just missed at the end. I didn't think it was a half-bad race, but everything before that, before the final quarter, the first 6 furlongs of that race was not so good because the horse didn't break that well and was stupidly wide throughout, and I think that cost him. If the horse breaks better today, should get a good trip from the outside, I think this horse could really run a good race. 2 back at Woodbine on the 8th of November, mile 16th on their inner lawn. He finished third by length, and again, sat back early, but it was stupidly wide, which cost the horse, but was moving late. I didn't think it was a half-bad race, getting some class relief from the previous race, which came here in New York at Belmont. A World Traveler, this one. Mile 16th on the inner and optional 62. That inner turf course at Belmont plays towards speed, especially routing. But for this horse to close up well, finishing third by length, I didn't think it was a half-bad race, but he's going to have to save some ground. I think he has the ability to win here. At 8-1, we'll use him. Second likeliest winner is the 4-horse Vigilance Way. Julian Leperoux gets on this one for Sugar McGahee. The race in the Tropical Oaks was very impressive, winning on the front and all throughout. That was an outstanding victory. And then the race before then, the Winter Memories, where the horse nearly had the victory. I didn't think that was half bad either. It was a bit of a versatile horse, could sit on the front end or come from behind. 7-2. We'll use this horse also. I like the way he's come through this race, and also the 3-horse Zovelli for Tyler Gafflione, making the first start since the Just Game in June here in New York at Belmont. Might need the race off the bench, but the race is, he ran here last year, that Sand Springs. I didn't think it was a half bad run. And the race after that, the Mint Julep, I didn't think that was a half bad run either. 5-1, we'll give her a shot, but I do prefer the other two before her. But to recount my selection for the 7th from Gulfstream, it's the Grade 3 Marshua's River. Let's take the 8-horse Tuned as a top selection. We'll go 8-4-3-2 in the superfecta, 8-4-3 in the multi-race. Let's get to La Prevoyante, the 9th race from Gulfstream. The 8th race from Gulfstream, it is the La Prevoyante Stakes, Grade 3, purse $125,000. Race for fillies, mares, 4-year-olds, and upwards. We have a field of a dozen horses heading to the Gulfstream Park lawn, the distance of ground of 2,400 meters, or the distance of ground of 1.5 miles on the Gulfstream Park turf course. 2,400 meters, 1.5 miles. The portable rails are down at 0 feet, so it's the inner portion of the turf course, which is basically the pre-2005 configuration of the turf course before they renovated everything. But at least this turf course doesn't go underwater every time it rains, and it's not as narrow as the old one. They at least have 96 feet of ground to cover around the turns. But my top selection here in the La Prevoyante, we're going to go to the rail to the 1-horse Always Shopping. We'll go 1-6-11-8 in the superfecta, 1-6-11-8 super, top selection 1-horse Always Shopping. 5-year-old mare by Austin McGann. Ortiz Jr. gets the mount for Tom Pletcher. The horse's most recent outing came in the local prep race for this race, Via Borghese here at Gulfstream, mile 3, 16th, 19th of December, and the horse won by 3 lengths. And from a stupidly wide poster, the horse got over well. Could have saved a little bit more ground around the turn, but stalked, got the lead, and then just took off clear. That was a very good run. 1.5 miles shouldn't be bad for this horse at all, and I think the horse, should get a good trip here today. 2 back in the Dowager at Keeneland, 1.5 miles. 18th of October, the horse finished second by head, was on the front end almost all throughout, just need that extra turn of foot late, but I've seen a lot worse races for her. And then prior to that, here in the Monroe at Gulfstream, mile 16th, 7th of September, the horse won by a neck and from a stalling position, a little bit wide, but had a great turn of foot to win. I like how this horse gets so close on this turf course. It's drawn very well, and I think she might get everything her own way on the front end. At 3-1, we'll use her along with the 6-horse Campazliza, 5-year-old mare by Curlin. Edgar Zayas gets them out for Arnold Delacour. The horse's most recent outing in that Via Borghese, the horse just had a stupidly wide trip, finishing 6 by 5.25 lengths. Today, longer trip, dry turf course, I think is key with her. When she steps on a wet turf course, she does not run. But when she sees a very, very fast, firm turf course, I think she runs her best races. She's probably going to get that today. She's getting the 1.5 miles again. And, she's going to have to step up in a little bit of class, but I think the trip should suit her well. At 20-1, we'll use her, but she'll have to save ground. Last time out, 7 wide, 2 wide before that, 5 wide before that, and then stepping on a turf course that was a bog at Belmont. But hopefully saving some ground here today. And like I said, she definitely gets the trip. 20-1. We'll give her a shot also. We'll definitely use her in the multi-race and also a small win place on her. But to recap my selection for the 8th from Gulfstream, it's La Prevoyante. Let's take the 1-horse Always Shopping. Give kudos to the 6-horse Cambeliza. We'll go 1-6-11-8 in the superfecta, 1-6 in the multi-race to the 9th. Race number 9 from Gulfstream. It is the Inside Information Stakes, Grade 2, purse $200,000. Race for fillies, mares, 4-year-olds, and upwards. We have a field of 8 horses heading to the main track, the distance of ground of 1,400 meters, or the 7-furlong trip on the Gulfstream Park main track. 1,400 meters, 7 furlongs, main track here in the Inside Information. My top selection, I'm going to go with the number, where are we? I'm going to go with the number 6-horse Pacific Gal. We'll go 6-3-8-7 in the superfecta, 6-3-8-7 super. Top selection is 6-horse Pacific Gal. 6-year-old mare by Flat Out. John Velazquez gets them out for John Kimmel. The horse's most recent outing came the Garland Roses here in New York at Aqueduct, 6 furlongs, 6th of December. And the horse finished 3rd by 1 3/4 lengths there. Didn't break well, never quickened up, never weakened out of it. It was an okay effort. I think going to a longer trip here today, training a little bit better since the last run. I'm gonna give her a shot. Two back in the pumpkin pie at Belmont on the slop, 7 furlongs, 1st November. The horse finished second by 4.5 lengths. Honor Way won it very easily that day on the front end. This horse just really couldn't, keep up late. Maybe she didn't like the slop. She's run 8 times on it, but never a victory on it. She always places, but never a victory. It was a weird race there. And then prior to that, the Gallon Bloom Handicap at Belmont, 6.5 furlongs, 3rd of October. The horse finished fifth by 10.5 lengths, was on the front end early on, but then got caught by much better horse, Frank's Rockhead. And then the honorable miss before that at Saratoga over the 7/8 or 3/4, excuse me. The horse finished 7 by 10, 3/4 lengths there, and just really couldn't keep up with those better horses. But this isn't the world's toughest race today, and, training well. I'm going to give her a shot here at 6-1. A horse to use in your multi race in this very wide open race will be the 3-horse Bronx Beauty. Also, Luis Saez gets them out. And the Sugar Swirl most recently, this horse just really had a great turn of foot, a great trip, closed up well late. I didn't think it was a half bad place there. And then before then, the Pumpkin Pie on the slop. This horse just didn't handle the slop. But before then, the Ski Pad at Pimlico, very good place there. And then won the Regret on Monmouth before that very nicely also. One slight thing about her, she doesn't do well on this track. Her races have been a little subpar here, but she's coming to this race well. We'll give her a shot at 8-1 here. And another horse to keep an eye on is on the 8-horse Sound Machine for Jose Ortiz. Last time out just ran a really crap race, to tell you the truth. But the races last season here can definitely win. That last race, she should have won the Sugar Swirl, I thought. But to recount my selection for the 9th from Gulfstream, it's the inside information. We'll use the 6-horse Pacific Gale as a top selection. We'll go 6-3-8-7 in the superfecta, 6-3-8 in the multi-race to the 10th race. The 10th race from Gulfstream Park, it is the WL Mcknight Handicap. It's a grade 3 event going for a purse of $150,000, races for 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 11 horses entered to go the distance of ground of 2,400 meters or the distance of ground of 1 mile and 1/2 on the Gulfstream Park turf course. 2,400 meters, 1.5 miles turf course. And my top selection here in the Mcknight, a race that used to be always run at Calder in late December, along with the La Prevoyante, and a race very rich in history. But my top selection in the Mcknight, I'm going to go with the number 7-horse Tide of the Sea. I'm going to go 7-5-1-9 in the superfecta, 7-5-1-9 super. Top selection 7-horse Tide of the Sea. This 5-year-old horse by English Channel. Tyler Gafflione gets them out for Mike Maker. The horse's most recent outing came in the Fort Lauderdale here at Gulfstream Park, a mile and 1/8, 12th of December. And off the bench, the horse finished 6th by 4.5 lengths there, and really wanted to go, but Joe Bravo had a iron fist on the horse, did not let the horse go, moved a little bit late. It was an okay kind of 6th place finish, but a longer trip today, and not as tough as a race as the Fort Lauderdale, which is basically a local prep race for that Pegasus turf. Getting some class relief, longer trip. I think he's in a more realistic spot to win. Also, sitting closer should suit him well also. Two back in allowance race, 72,000 at Keelan, a mile and a half, October the 7th. The horse won by 2.25 lengths and getting everything his own way in the front end, 113 3/4. You're probably going to win if you're setting the pace, and he did. He just took off clear, an all-around good effort. And then prior to that, Kentucky down to mile 5/16 in allowance race, went by 5.5 lengths. He was drawn a little bit wide that day, but he got the job done on the front end, winning very, very in hand. And then prior to that, in early August, Saratoga, mile 3, it's allowance race, 74,000. He finished second by 4.5 lengths there, and he just couldn't catch their winner, who basically switched to tactics, up everything his own way. But coming here today, a longer trip, sitting closer, hopefully. Tyler rode a good race on this horse at Keelan. I like the jockey booking. At 10-1, we'll give him a shot. Another likely winner here is 5-horse Adler's Joy. He's come back to Gulfstream, where he's run decently in the past, but he's going to have to get a good trip. If he doesn't get a good trip, he's not going to win. Most recently, the Red Smith, he just was, just a little bit too late there. And then before the Turf Classic, he doesn't do well at Belmont. And that's probably his least favorite course. But, he ran, I thought, a good race in the Bowling Green, but of course he had to come in on a few horses in the top of the lane and get disqualified. And then before that, even at Belmont, where he does not like running, I thought he ran a good third in the Manhattan. He's done decently on this turf course. At 3-1, we'll give him a shot here, and also give a shot to the 1-horse Dowswell. For Barkley Tag, a very nice place for this horse in the Fort Lauderdale, and coming to a longer trip, I think this horse should really suit it. At 7-2, we'll use him there on the multis. But to recap my selection for the 10th from Gulfstream, it is the Mcknight Handicap, or Mcknight Stakes now. As a top selection, we'll take the 7-horse Tide of the Sea. We'll go 7-5-1-9 in the superfecta, 7-5-1 in that multi race. Let's get to the 11th race from Gulfstream. The 11th race from Gulfstream, it is the Pegasus World Cup Turf Invitational. It's a grade 1 event going for a purse of $1,000,000, race for 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a dozen horses heading to the Gulfstream Park lawn, the distance of ground of 1,900 meters, with a distance of ground of a mile 3/16 on the Gulfstream Park turf course. 1,900 meters, a mile 3/16, rails at 96 feet, so it's the outer portion of the turf course. My top selection, we're going to go take the number 7 horse here, Aguaphobia. We'll go 7-1-5-9 in the superfecta, 7-1-5-9 super. Top selection 7 horse, Aguaphobia, 8-year-old horse by Giants Causeway. Joe Bravo gets the mount for Mike Maker. The horse's most recent appearance came in the Red Smith here in New York at Aqueduct, a mile 3/8, November the 21st, and he finished 6th by 2 lengths there. He moved a little bit late, but North Dakota just ran a much better race there, basically closing up from nowhere, but coming here a little bit of a shorter trip, sitting closer. I think he could really run a good race. Two back in the Sycamore Keelan, a mile and a half, 15th of October. He finished 7 by 7.5 lengths. He stalked that day, and then had a little bit of trouble tripping the lane. You know, he probably was going to win anyway, but that was adding insult to injury. He just couldn't keep up late. And then 3 back in the Sword Dancer at Saratoga, very soft going, a mile and a half. He finished 3rd by 9.5 lengths, and he just couldn't keep up on the soft going. But before then, the UN handicap, or stakes, everything's stakes now, no more handicaps. UN stakes at Monmouth, mile 3/8. He won by a length, and he had a dream trip that day. Stalking, getting the lead, quickening up nicely. A very, very good run, but I like him cutting back in trip to a mile 3/16. It would be good if he sits closer, but he doesn't need the lead per se. And I think he should get a good trip here. 20-1 will use him. Another horse we'll use would be the 1-horse Next Shares. It's 8-year-old Gellin by Arch. Trina Van Dyke comes in to ride this horse. I thought his San Gabriel place wasn't a half bad race last time out, where he was a little bit wide, but he was really mowing him down late. And it was definitely an improvement off the Seabiscuit handicap at Del Mar over the mile 16th, which was just a little bit too short. He was finishing 3rd by 1.5 lengths. He had a bit of a trouble trip in the lane. I didn't think it was a half bad effort, but he showed improvement with the San Gabriel, and I think off of that race, he should really show even more improvement. He ran this race last year, though, where he had a stupidly wide poster, and he beat nobody home basically last year in this race, but I think drawn a little bit better today from the inside. I think he could really, get a good trip here today, closing up. Let's use him at 20-1, and some of those horses he faced last year were decent horses, Raging Bull, War Will, United. He's not facing such good quality like those today at Uni, but so we'll use we'll use Next Shares in this one, and we'll also use the 5-horse Colonel Lee and the Old Man, considered to the other 2 horses 8-year-olds, but this 4-year-old colt by Liam's Map, Aristides Jr. gets the mount. Most recently in the Tropical Derby, the horse won very nicely by 3.5 lengths, coming from mid-pack, and then before then, the Saratoga Derby, the horse just lost all chances at the beginning, but for this horse to get 4th that day, I didn't think it was a half bad race after all, but has to break better. But since taking this horse to the turf, he's really been running his better races. At 7-2, we'll definitely use him because he could be the next up-and-coming star. But to recap my selection for the 11th from Gulfstream, it's the Pegasus. Excuse me, getting a little tongue-tied here now. It's the Pegasus World Cup Turf Invitational, the $1 million Pegasus World Cup Turf. Gonna take as a top selection the 7-horse Aguaphobia. We'll give kudos to the 1-horse Next Shares and the 1-horse Colonel Liam. We'll go 7-1-5-9 in the superfecta, 7-1-5 in the multi-race. Let's get to the nightcap, the big one, the 12th race from Gulfstream Park. The 12th race from Gulfstream Park, it is the Pegasus World Cup. It's a grade 1 event going for a purse of $3 million, race for 4-year-olds and upwards. We have a field of 12 horses heading to the Gulfstream main dirt track, the distance of ground of 1,800 meters, or 1 lap around the main track, which is 1,800 meters or a mile and 1/8 in circumference. 1,800 meters, a mile 1/8 in the Pegasus World Cup, or the Don handicap, if you want to go by that. My top selection here in the Pegasus, I'm going to take the 7-horse Tax. We'll go 7-10-3-11 in the superfecta, 7-10-3-11 super. Top selection 7-horse Tax. This 5-year-old Gilded by Arch. Luis Saez gets them out for Danny Gargan. The horse's most recent outing came in the local prep race for this one, the Harlan's Holiday, mile 3/16, 12th of December, and the horse won by 4.5 lengths. Run very well, set the pace on the front and all throughout, and just won geared down. It was a very easy run. Second off the break, he's going to face a very tough competition. I think he'd get a good trip, and I think, it wouldn't surprise me if he wins today, and it wouldn't surprise me at all. Two back in the Oakland Handicap at Oakland, a mile and 8th, the 2nd of May. He finished 5th by 6 3/4 lengths there, and he's just very wide and really just couldn't keep up. 11 or 13, I just don't think he's suited with that post. And then prior to that, in last year's Pegasus, mile and 8th here at Gulfstream, he finished 9th by 15 1/4 lengths there, and he didn't break well, which cost him. Was stupidly wide, which was insult to injury because he was drawn on the rail. But Ira did that, or Jose did that day, was just incredible. But lost all chance at the beginning there, and then before that, the Discovery Stakes at Aqueduct, mile and 8th last November, the horse finished 2nd by 1/4 lengths, and he was gaining ground late. I didn't think that was a half bad race behind Performer. And then prior to that, in the Travers, he finished 7th by 4 3/4 lengths, and he just couldn't keep up the mile and a quarter late. But before that, he ran a very massive race, I thought, in the Jim Dandy, holding on by 3/4 length by nearly getting caught by Tacitus, who was coming up a dead rail that day and had a horrible trip. And that Jim Dandy, and but still, this horse ran big there. And then prior to that, in the Belmont, he finished 4th by 2 3/4 lengths and just didn't stay the mile and a half. But he's a mile and 8th horse. He's been training well. 5-1. I think he has a strong chance of winning, along with the 10-horse Code of Honor. But he's going to have to overcome the very, very wide posture. Mile and 8th here at Gulfstream Park, you need to be drawn very wide. Very well, not very wide. Even post 7 with tax might be a little bit too wide. 10, you need to be, if you want to win from post 10 at Gulfstream Park, going a mile and 8th, you need to be a very good horse. Something like a Big Brown, Mucho Gusto kind of thing. Mainly Big Brown, but most recently in the Clark, he finished 2nd by length, and he was really closing up well late. Mile 3/16 probably would have won easily, but I thought it was a good race. And then before then, the Kelso, shorter trip. It was a weird run why they wanted to run him in the Kelso, but again, he ran decently. And then his win, he just didn't really get a good trip. He was very lackadaisical that day. But going to a longer trip today, gonna have to overcome a wide post trip. But I think on ability he can do it. 9-2 will use him, but he has to get a good position. But to recount my selection for the 12th from Gulfstream, it's Pegasus World Cup, the $3 million Pegasus World Cup. We'll take as a top selection the 7-horse Tax. Give kudos to the 10-horse Code of Honor. We'll go 7-10, 3-11 in the superfecta, 7-10 in the multi-race. So good luck to all, and please follow me on Twitter at HorseRacingKid5. Good luck, everybody.